What is your name, please?
My name is Jane Hayward.
What is your name, please?
My name is Jane Hayward.
What is your name, please?
My name is Jane Hayward.
Two of these people are imposters. Only one of them is the real Jane Hayward, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. And here is our host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Good evening, and welcome again to our little game of deliberate misrepresentation, wherein our panel endeavors to figure out which one of three challengers has sworn to tell the truth. To Tell the Truth is brought to you each week by Geritol, America's #1 tonic, the high-potency tonic that helps you feel stronger fast. And now let's meet our cross-examiners. What is your name, please?
My name is Polly Bergen.
My name is Ralph Bellamy.
My name is Kitty Carlisle.
And my name is Hy Gardner.
Now, these three ladies all claim to be Jane Hayward. Only one is the real Jane Hayward. The others have merely assumed that identity, and they do not have to stick to the truth. Now, panel, in front of you are copies of an affidavit which I am about to read. Will you please follow along from your copies? I, Jane Hayward, am an industrial nurse in New York. Before coming to this country from England, I was a pig farmer and a stock car racing driver. Nursing is not new to me. As a nurse during World War II, I was twice called to Buckingham Palace and decorated, once by the King and once by the Queen, for heroism under fire. Signed, Jane Hayward. All right, panel, these three ladies all claim to be Jane Hayward, twice decorated nurse. Only the real Jane Hayward is required to answer your questions truthfully. You will each question until you hear this signal, and at the end of the questioning period, you will, as usual, be required to cast your vote for the one who, in your opinion, is the real Jane Hayward. And we'll begin our questioning rounds tonight with Ralph Bellamy. Ralph?
Number one, what is a hospital usually called in England?
General Training School.
Number two, what is a hospital usually called in England?
A hospital.
Yes. Number three, what would you say?
A hospital.
Hospital. Number one, you say you raise pigs. What kind of pigs?
Large white.
Number two.
Hampshire.
Number three.
Mostly large whites and some Essex.
Number one, what did you feed your pigs?
Pig meal.
Number two, what did you feed your pig?
Pig meal also.
Kitty?
Number two, you say you were a stock car racer in England. Did you ever have an accident?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did. I bumped into a taxi on 48th Street and Broadway.
That was not in England.
It's a long way to come for an accident.
Number three, you were decorated. What decorations do you hold?
The Red Cross Medal and Distinguished Nursing Certificate.
You were decorated with these two medals?
Yes.
I see. Number one, when you go to Buckingham Palace to get a decoration, what entrance do you use?
Main gate entrance.
The main gate, facing the mall. Mall.
Yes.
Mall.
Yes.
How long is your training period in England, number two?
3 years.
3 years.
Hy Gardner.
How long is your training period, number three?
3 years.
Well, it's nice to know it's unanimous. Now, number one, when you were decorated by the Queen, did she kiss your hand or kiss your cheek?
She shakes hands.
Uh-huh. Number two, in an emergency, may you perform minor surgery?
Very minor.
Number two, also, what is the difference between an industrial nurse, your type of service, and that of Blue Cross?
I'm sorry, I don't know what Blue Cross is. What is Blue Cross?
Well, it's a medical service.
I don't know what Blue Cross does. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh. Number three, why is it so many pig farmers are vegetarians?
I wouldn't know.
I think those are only the pigs that sniff out the truffles. You know the truffle sniffers? Or are they troubleshooters? I don't know. But anyway, Polly.
You're
I
lost,
think you should
bud.
forget it.
We didn't get anywhere with that.
Number one, how do you call pigs in England?
There's no particular call for them.
Oh, there isn't?
There's no particular call for pigs. They don't...
Number two, do you know of any particular call?
You don't need to call them. They're in their pens all the time. Well, most of the time, anyway.
Oh. They don't want number three. Do you have any particular...
No, they're in their own separate pigsties.
Oh, because here we have hog calling contests, you know. There is a special way to call a pig.
You might try
Which
Buckingham
I won't go into right
3073.
now. Number one,
Time's up. Time to vote. Sorry, close you right down there on number one. But in any event, let's see what we have without consultation. Will you mark your ballots, panel? And by doing so, you will select number one, number two, or number three. Remember, please, that the team of challengers will receive $250 for every incorrect vote. All right, Polly, have you voted?
No.
Polly,
what?
have you voted? For whom did you vote?
You always pick on me. I voted for number one. I have to give a reason, don't I?
Yes?
Well, actually, I haven't any idea, excepting that that she looked like she might have worked in... I don't know. They all answered everything right. I'd love to have come up with something very intelligent, but I couldn't.
Well, I'll come up with something intelligent and tell you what an awfully good show you had last Saturday night. Ralph, what about your vote?
Number three. I just think she answered a little more quickly and fully than the others. That's about all.
Kitty?
Too short.
Number one. Well, I don't know. She just looked like she might have behaved with heroism under fire. I'm sure the others could have, too, but I felt that way.
And how about yours, Hi?
Well, I voted for number two. I think mostly because she has that glint in her eye. She looks like she could go from raising hogs to sort of coping with road hogs.
Ooh.
I know it's bad.
All right. We'll put it along with my sniffle truffle or something, whatever it is. But there are reasons in our votes. Let's see now as we find out which one of these three ladies is the twice-decorated nurse. Will the real Jane Hayward please stand up? Thank you very much. Now, number two, who are you really and what do you do?
My name is Lila Prague, and I work as secretary to the producer of the Steve Allen Show.
And number three, what about you?
My name is Marjorie Mackenzie Williamson. I'm a freelance fashion model.
And if you could lean over your desk and look at the scores, you'd see there were two incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $500 from Geritol. Thank you very much, ladies. Hope you enjoyed it. Good night and good luck. Now, we'll introduce another set of challengers in just a moment. Next team of challengers, please.
What is your name, please?
My name is Jack Bursey.
What is your name, please?
My name is Jack Bursey.
What is your name, please?
My name is Jack Bursey.
Having heard that, panel, will you once again direct your attention to your copies of this affidavit? I, Jack Bursey, am a lieutenant commander in the United States Coast Guard Reserve. I am an author, lecturer, and expert on Antarctic exploration. I have been a member of 3 Antarctic expeditions and have spent a total of 42 months on the Antarctic continent. I once drove a dog sled more than 1,200 miles across the Ross Ice Shelf. Admiral Byrd named an Antarctic mountain, Mount Bursey, in my honor. Signed, Jack Bursey. Jack Bursey, and he's required to answer your questions truthfully. So we'll start this round with Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Well, I'm interested in knowing how you keep from getting your face frostbitten, even though you wear those parkas, I suppose they're called. Number one, can you tell me how you keep from getting frostbitten in whatever shows, your nose or...
Yes, there is something else we use, too, when there's wind. There's a woolen mask that fits underneath this.
So there's nothing that shows.
Yes, your eyes and part of your nostrils.
Uh-huh. And they don't get frostbitten.
They do at times.
Number 2, why is an igloo warm? It's all made of ice, isn't it?
Correct.
Well, why is it warm?
Well, because it's only warm from the heat of your body after you get in there.
Oh, but that's the only thing that keeps you warm, the heat of your body.
Right.
Number 3, what is the dew line?
The dew line?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Number 1, why was a mountain named in your honor?
Sorry, we'll have to hold that in case we go back for another round. How about
number
you?
1, who books your lectures?
Beg pardon?
Who books your lectures?
The Walden Agency.
Who books your lectures, number 2?
Walden Agencies.
Number 3, who books your lectures?
Walden Agency.
Busy agency. Number 1, what was the big controversy concerning the dogs which accompanied the bird expedition?
Which one, sir?
The first one.
There wasn't the trouble came when the dogs were killed, and some people didn't feel that was humane.
Uh-huh. Number 3, is it true or false that by rubbing ice on your face or your hands that you really help to create frostbite?
No, that's a false illusion.
It's a false illusion.
Holly?
Kitty, what's a dew line?
The dew line is a thing in the Antarctic that they have established for weather stations, I think.
Oh, thank you. Number one, have you ever been to the Arctic?
Yes, I have.
You have? I'm sorry, I'm confused. I used to remember this, but is the Arctic the one that's north and the Antarctic south, or is the Antarctic south and the
No, that's
Arctic
correct.
is north?
The Antarctic is south.
Which is
The
it?
Antarctic is south.
the same
The
thing.
Antarctic is south.
That's correct.
I see.
Who are the contestants here tonight?
Number two, what is the lowest commissioned officer in the Coast Guard?
Well, Chief Warrant Officer.
Number 3, what is the highest non-commissioned officer in the Coast Guard?
Chief Petty Officer.
Number 1, what is a warrant officer?
He is one step below the ensign. He's also high.
One step above the ensign?
Below the ensign.
Oh, below the
That's
ensign.
right.
What is he one step above?
The petty officer.
Oh.
Ralph?
Number 1, how many dogs in the dog team?
We use 9, but I believe 9 is used more than any other number. We found 9 to be the most efficient.
Number 2, under what branch of the government was the Coast Guard inaugurated?
Under the Treasury Department.
And who was the head of the Treasury at the time of the inauguration?
Alexander Hamilton.
Number 3, where are the East Coast Coast Guard stations?
Where is the East Coast?
Coast Guard stations.
The ones that are located on the East
On
Coast?
the East Coast, yes.
Oh, there's quite a few of them. One on Fire Island, one on Short Beach.
Once again, it's time to vote, panel. No consultation. Will you please mark your ballots and select
I didn't get a chance
number...
to find out why they named a mountain after him.
Select number 1, number 2, or number 3. All right, panel, have you marked your dew lines? How about you, Polly?
I have.
You haven't?
No.
Not yet?
If her dew line question throws me, that's all. Oh, well.
Oh, well, what did you vote for? What number?
I voted for number 1 again.
Huh?
Well, I did so well with it the first time. And also, number 1 looks familiar. Now, whether that's because he's an actor that I met somewhere, or because I saw his picture in the paper as the lieutenant colonel, I don't know. But I just have the feeling that he is, I think.
You know, these days I can't tell when you're through.
I never really am.
All right, Ralph, what about your vote?
Number 1 seemed to have a lot of information, and he had a diction that possibly might be a lecturer's diction.
Kitty, your selection?
Number 2. Well, number 3 I thought was too young, and number 2 looked as though he might have been frostbitten once.
All right, Gardner, what about yours?
I voted for number 1, although I had a hunch it was number 3 for some reason. I go along with Polly on number 1. He looks familiar. I think the reason he looks familiar is I think he taught the penguins how to say, cool, cool. But he did know the answer, though, to the question about the dogs. There was some controversy concerning their killing the dogs before returning.
Okay, here we are now with our votes in and minds made up. Let's see now which one of these distinguished gentlemen is the real Antarctic explorer. Will the real Jack Bursey please stand up?
I almost voted for him, but I just don't know.
Lieutenant Commander Bursey's book, Antarctic Nights, was recently published by Rand McNally. Am I right?
That's right, sir.
And now let's find out about number one, sir. You who look the most like it. Who are you really and what do you do?
My name is Ed Schumann. I am a staff manager of asbestos textiles for Johns Manville in New York.
And number three, what about you, sir?
My name is Robert Naismith. I'm building manager of Steinway Hall, the home of Steinway Piano.
Well, there were 1, 2, 3 incorrect votes at $250 each, gentlemen, for a total of $750 from Geritol. Divide it, enjoy it. Thank you very much for being with us. Good night and good luck. Now, we'll need a new set of challengers in just a moment. Challengers, please.
What is your name, please?
My name is Margaret Leong.
What is your name, please?
My name is Margaret Leong.
What is your name, please?
My name is Margaret Leong.
Very well, panel. Will you follow along with your copies of this affidavit? I, Margaret Leong, own and operate a dry cleaning establishment in New York's Chinatown. In my shop, I also act as sub-agent and collect gas and electric bills for the utility company. I also issue money orders. In my spare time, I write the fortunes for the largest manufacturer of Chinese fortune cookies in the country. Signed, Margaret Leong. All right, panel, these three ladies all claim to be Margaret Leong, writer of fortunes for Chinese fortune cookies. You will each question again until you hear the signal, and we'll start this round with Hi Gardner. Hi?
Well, number one, tell me, who was Shavy Lee?
Shady Lee was the mayor of Chinatown quite some time ago. He died about 3 years ago.
Number two, who was the present mayor of Chinatown?
Oh, well, I'd say James Taipon.
Number three, what is the name of the most popular Chinese newspaper?
Oh, well, I like the China Tribune.
Chinese Tribune?
Yes, China Tribune.
Oh, the China Tribune.
Yes.
Your column in that, Hi?
Probably, but I can't proofread it. Number one, how much do you have to pay for a $5 money order?
$5 money order, you pay about 15 cents.
About 15 cents. Also, number two, who was it who wrote that fortune cookie that read, "Me friends, don't eat here"? You know?
The woman that writes the fortunes for the fortune cookies.
Polly?
What did she say?
The woman who writes the fortunes for the fortune cookies wrote the fortune that Hi just quoted.
Well, isn't that her?
She's one of them.
Oh. Number one, gas and electric bills. Do you get the bills from the company, or do you have to go out and check the meters, or do you check meters?
No, the customers or the clients bring in the bill to me.
Oh, in other words, they get the bill by mail, and
Yes.
then they bring it into you,
Yes.
and you collect the money and send it to the utility company.
Yes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I must say this. Did somebody that you know that works with the fortune cookie, writing the fortunes, write that fortune that said, "Help, I am held prisoner in a Chinese bakery"? No, really, because I heard it and I thought it was so funny. Actually, is there really one like that, or is that just a gag?
I wouldn't know.
Ralph?
Number one, Where's the precinct station in Chinatown?
Precinct station is on Baxter.
Number 2, where is the precinct station?
Elizabeth Street.
Number 3, where's the precinct station?
Elizabeth Street.
Number 1, does the name Strokey mean anything to you with reference to Chinatown? Strokey?
Strokey?
S-T-R-O-K-E-Y.
I'm not familiar with that.
Number 2, that name mean anything to you?
I'm not either.
Number 3?
Oh, I don't have no idea.
Number 1, what are the boundaries of Chinatown?
Mulberry and Barry and Canal.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 3, where did the fortune in the cookie originate?
Well, it originated with my father-in-law, who, back in 36, when he thought of that.
It has nothing to do with an old Chinese tradition.
Oh, no.
No. Number 2, what kind of a solution do you use in your cleaning establishment?
Well, naphthalene.
And what else?
And, well, a solution. They don't use water.
I see. Do you put more than one garment in the solution at one time?
Well, we don't do the cleaning in the premises.
Ah, you send it out.
Yes.
Number 1, are you connected with the post office?
No.
How is it possible that you issue money orders then?
This is for the American Express Company.
Ah, are you connected with the American Express, number 3? You are. Are you connected with the American Express?
All right, that's it. Hope you've gleaned enough information from that to vote, because now it's time to mark your ballots without consultation and select number 1, number 2, or number 3. All right. Polly, are you marking?
Why don't you ever start with hi? Yes.
Go the wrong way?
Yes, you always start with me, and I never have any time.
All right, I don't know what this will do to Frank Heller, but all right. Hi, what is your vote this time?
Well, fine. I thought that Polly was going to vote for number 3, so I did.
Thank you, I was going to vote, I thought it was wrong.
I think it's wrong, too. But I thought if I started wrong, it might get right by the time it got to you. And that is my reason for picking number 3.
Okay. Kitty, what about yours?
I voted for number 3. Well, I thought she looked extremely efficient and as though she could handle all those jobs at once.
Ralph, your vote?
Number 2. Number 1, I think, had the location of the precinct station wrong. And number 3 said fortune cookies originated in 1936. I can remember them way before that, so I figured it must have been number 2.
You got stale cookies, Ralph.
Look at Polly. Now she has time to think. She's so eager. She can't
Well,
wait.
you know, it is really
Who'd you
very
vote for?
unfair. I voted for number 2. Actually, I thought it was number 3, but she said 36, and I remember in 1930 there weren't any fortune cookies.
All right, there we have it in reverse order. Our rhymes, our reasons, and our votes. Hope it didn't toss you a curve on that time. So let's see which one of these lovely ladies is the real writer of fortunes, and the Chinese cookies will the real Margaret Leong please stand up. Oh, dear. Now, number 1, would you tell us who you really are and what you do?
My name is Florence Lum. I'm a postgraduate student in Oriental Art at Columbia and NYU.
And number 3, tell us about you.
My name is Esther Key. I own and operate the China Overseas Travel Service of New York.
Yes, Ralph.
I tell these young ladies from Chinatown that Strokey's is a very fine drinking establishment at 18 on the Bowery.
Just don't ask for Dewline when you go in there. And we had exactly 2 incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $500 from Geritol, ladies. Hope you enjoyed your visit. We enjoyed having you here. Good night and good luck.
FinallyFast.com.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight, except say good night, panel, so good night.
Good night, Bud.
And our program, as you know, is brought to you by Geritol, a fast-acting, high-potency tonic that helps you feel stronger fast. Now, this is Bud Collier reminding you to tell the truth. Good night.
To tell the truth.
At GSN, we have a great...
What is your name, please?
My name is Grace Earl.
What is your name, please?
My name is Grace Earl.
What is your name, please?
My name is Grace Earl.
Two of these people are imposters. Only one of them is the real Grace Earl, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. And here is our host, Bud Collier.
Thank you, and good evening, and welcome once again to our game of deliberate misrepresentation, in which our panel endeavors to figure out which one of two challengers has sworn to tell the truth. To Tell the Truth is brought to you each week by Geritol, America's #1 tonic, the high-potency tonic that helps you feel stronger fast. And now let's meet our cross-examiners. What is your name, please?
My name is Polly Bergen.
My name is Ralph Bellamy.
My name is Kitty Carlisle.
And my name is Hy Gardner.
Now, these three people all claim to be Grace Earl. Only one is the real Grace Earl. The other two have merely assumed that identity, and they do not have to stick to the truth. Now, panel, may I direct your attention to your copies of an affidavit while I read from the original. I, Grace Earl, have been a telephone operator in Washington, D.C. for more than 25 years. I started in government service in 1935 and have worked in one place through 3 administrations. I am now the chief telephone operator at the White House. Signed, Grace Earl. All right, panel, these 3 ladies all claim to be Grace Earl, as you heard, chief telephone operator at the White House. Only the real Grace Earl is sworn to answer your questions truthfully, and each of you will question as usual until you hear this signal. At the end of the questioning period, you will, of course, be asked to register your vote for the one who, in your opinion, is the real Grace Earl. And we'll start with Polly Bergen. Polly?
Number 1, the first newspaper woman was recently named to the post of Jim Haggerty's assistant at the White House. Could you give me her name, please?
Grace Dawn.
Number 2, how many private lines does Mr. Eisenhower have?
1.
1. Number 2, could you tell me, name the people who can be directly connected with the president himself? Number 2.
The number?
No, the people who can be connected directly with the president by phone.
All of the White House staff and cabinet members.
They can be connected without being announced to the president.
No, everyone would be announced.
Oh, everyone
Sorry.
must be announced, I see.
Ralph Bellamy.
Well, number 1, I suppose we ought to find out what's the White House telephone number.
Number 1, National 81414.
Well, I happen to know that's right. What's the...
You're boasting.
Number 1, what's the president's office extension number?
His office extension is 31.
Number 2, what's your answer to that?
32.
Number 3, what's your answer to that?
33 and 34.
Number 1, who answers the president's extension?
His secretary?
Number 2, what's his secretary's name?
Personal secretary?
Yes.
Ann Whitman.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 3, you've been chief operator at the White House for 25 years, and you've been through 3 administrations. Who made the most telephone calls? President Truman, President Roosevelt, or President Eisenhower?
President Roosevelt.
Why?
He lived there the longest.
Number 2, how do you eliminate nut calls? Now, we're not very important, but we get a few, and I wonder how they do it at the White House.
We ask who's calling and ask what their name is. If the name is not recognized, why...
You don't put them through. Number 2, do you have priority, number 1, do you have priority on long-distance phone calls, or do you have to do like we do, wait and they say, the circuits are busy, madam?
We have priority.
You do.
Hi, Gardner.
Number 1, does the president ever accept collect calls?
That depends.
Also, number 1, when you answer the phone at the White House, what do you say?
Good afternoon. To whom do you wish to speak?
Number 2, how do you acknowledge the call?
White House.
Number 3?
This is the White House.
Number 2, what department stores do you shop in Washington?
Garfinkel's.
Mm-hmm. Any others?
Woodward and Lothrop.
What newspapers do you read?
Washington Star.
And others?
The Morning Post.
And what do you read, number 1, in Washington?
The Washington Post.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's it. It's time to vote, panel. So without consultation, will you mark your ballots? And by so doing, you will select, of course, number 1, number 2, or number 3. I remind you that the team of challengers receives $250 for every incorrect vote. All right, now, Polly, you raised such a fuss last week about always being called on first, and
But I'm ready.
I'm sorry. I'm reversing the order. Hi, Gardner.
Well, I voted for number 2. I was going to vote for number 1, who's a redhead, but I realized it was impossible because they wouldn't let anything red into the White House.
Ooh. Kitty, how about your vote?
I voted for number 3. Well, I once called the White House, and if my memory serves me, the voice sounds familiar.
And how about you, Ralph?
Number 2. I kind of suspect number 3. We didn't ask her very much, but number 2, frankly, had a voice that sounded like a telephone voice.
Oh, you number droppers, you. Holly, how about you? Have you ever called the White House?
I never talked to the White House, but I voted for number 2 because when the 3 of them were standing up there, she said Grace Earl. She sort of ran her name together, as I think you would if you were used to carrying it around for a long time. And the other 2 were a little more proper when they said it.
All right, there are our reasons, and there are our votes. Let's see how well yours compare with our panel now as we find out which one of these 3 ladies is the chief telephone operator at the White House. Will the real Grace Earl please stand up? All right, now, let's see. Number 1, would you tell us who you really are and what you do?
My name is Helen McLaughlin. I am information clerk at the Commodore Hotel, New York.
And number 3, how about you?
My name is Madeline Hoey. I own Plumbridge, custom candies for the carriage trade.
I gather you hit a sweet tooth in Kitty. Let's see how we racked up here. Our panel was pretty smart, as a matter of fact. 3 of them guessed right, which means there was only 1 incorrect vote at $250 for that total from Geritol. Thank you very much, ladies. Good night, and good luck to you.